everyone. Hope you're doing well. Wow, the weekend goes fast, be that as it may. I was thinking of making a video with some things about the RMCP, Risk Management and Compliance Program. That's not so straightforward to know. And so I thought to make a video just to update people that already have an RMCP and is already implementing it, meaning it's a living document, it's being fulfilled as per what it says, and it doesn't need much updating. But if it does need updating, please note the following few things that I don't think everybody realizes. So the first thing I'd like to mention is that unfortunately not everyone is taking the targeted financial sanctions screening, I think, serious enough. So targeted financial sanctions deal with Section 26A, B, and C of the FICA Act, and it covers the individuals specified in those sections. So the FICA Center has made it, Financial Intelligence Center has made it pretty easy in terms of finding this TFS list, which has individuals and entities listed there with whom one may not do business. So obviously you'd want to do the TFS lists screening before you onboard your client. Just to start off with, there are three types of screening. Targeted financial sanctions, which is a link which is on the FICA website. Then you get your adverse media report or adverse media screening, which is where you look for basically anything negative or prior convictions or any articles or reports listed, things that people may have written or from newspapers or whatever that you can find. You don't have to do this absolute search for days and days on end. You just have to basically have a look to see if there's anything prominent sticking out, or that saying, listen, this person is currently being investigated, or whatever the case may be. I mean, an adverse report can be such a broad range. It can be from someone saying this person is rude, all the way to this person is literally 1 second away from being convicted of murder. So that is why you have a risk rating, is ordered to risk rate that. So if it is a very serious one, an adverse media report, then you would risk it very high. And of course, when we have a high risk, we need to apply enhanced due diligence, which is to get approval from your head to proceed with the matter. Secondly, to scrutinize the documents really, really carefully and to ask for source of wealth above source of funds, both of them. Right, so screening, TFS list, then you get your adverse media, and your last one is going to be your DPEP, FPEP, and PIP, which I've given you the short terms. DPEP, domestic politically exposed person, FPEP, foreign politically exposed person, and PIP, prominent influential person. So yes, the arena of political people are, not that we're saying that from the outset they are guilty of anything, it's just that they have the ability to have access to funds easier, and because they have quite a bit of power, I think power can change a person. So those are the three types of screening. With a DPEP, FPEP, PIP, we must bear in mind that family members, and quite a broad range of family members, meaning even the stepchildren of the politically exposed person, whether domestic or foreign, would be deemed as high risk. And this also includes their known associates. Right. So those are the screenings. And as mentioned, TFS list people, if they appear on that list, sometimes you get a false positive, so you must put as much information as possible, but you may not do business, because if that person is on the list, you need to actually inform the FICA Center immediately, if not immediately, within the next available possible time to do it. But it really is pivotal. And of course, then freezing of assets needs to occur. Another thing that I've noticed is that it's really important in your RMCP to actually specify whether whether you have, if you're the owner of the business, whether you've got subsidiaries or branches, or are you part of a franchise, or is there a head office registered overseas and there are branches registered in South Africa at the CIPC, so that would make it an external company. So meaning the branches in South Africa are registered, but the main head office is abroad. That's an external company. Or is it just standalone? So it's a CC. It's got no brother sister companies, or the case may be. So it's important your RMCP actually provides that, because there are instances where you would have a franchise and you would have a head office, and this head office would be responsible for reporting, monitoring, and checking that all its branches are indeed abiding with the FICA Act. So it's really important to state that. And then another thing I've noticed is that people don't always keep their attendance registers for their training, and there has been quite massive sanctions handed out pertaining to training problems. So for example, where someone new has started and at an accountable institution, and they don't have training within the first 30 days, it could be problematic. Usually it's 30 days. And so you also need to make sure that your senior, so there's a very loud car that just went by, let me repeat. Where was I? There are instances where, I just lost my train of thought. Wow, that was a loud car. Let me try that again. There are instances where you would have only one officer, and that person would also be the MLRO, money laundering and reporting officer. But bear in mind now that your ability to go onto the Go AML website is very private. An accountable institution should really only have its head officer being able to go onto that site, or its MLRO reporting officer or administrator. So it's not a case of anybody being able to get onto that system, not at all. In fact, the FICA Center is and the FICA Act is very big on, and wants everyone to understand, it truly is not a thing you share. You don't share your password or your username if you are one of the users, and it's usually you're either one user one, or user two, the head or the reporting officer, but you can be the same person. But it needs to be someone who's quite high up in the entity, in the business, knows the business quite well, and is able to take on that task of being the head. Reporting also, you need to have a clue of the different reports. You need to really understand what's required. The more you put into a report, the less chance of it being rejected. And the whole reason for a report is, of course, to fight money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. No point in rushing it. Do it properly within the time period, because there's now a public communication that's been sent out, which actually sets out what you need to do if you have not filed a report in time. So these are important things to remember. Thank you. Then Directive 11, of course, is your RCR, risk and compliance return, a completely separate requirement over a period of 3 years. When you do it on the FICA website, you'll do it per year, and there are quite a lot of questions, so prepare in time. Now we've come to the end of this video. Of course, there are a few more things I do believe should be in the RMCP, but I will do that in a separate video. And if you've learned anything from this video, please do like and subscribe, and take care. That's it.